Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Campus Cover. I am your friendly, degenerate Patty Betts, alongside the mother-loving G-O-double-G, Cody Goggin. It is Wednesday, August 5th. I got the date wrong last week, so I'm really thrown off right now. Sports are back. We said that sports were coming back last week, and now they are back. We've got NHL qualifiers. Baseball is in full swing. And the NBA is getting their play-in games and their final seeding matchups out of the way. We've got a lot to kind of cover here with with hockey, baseball, and the PGA Championship coming up this weekend. But let's check in with Cody Goggin first.
Yeah, what's up, Pat? The return to sports here has been insane. Just the way we went from having nothing at all to now, 5, 6 different sports going on at once. Like basically everything besides football is going on right now. So it's crazy. It's just all happening at once. Like never thought I'd have August NHL or NBA or anything.
Well, that's the thing, and also the fact that 2 nights ago, and it'll happen again tonight. I said to myself, we haven't had sports in like 4 months. And now I have the Cubs playing, and they were in a delay, so their game was pushed back a little bit. And I had to flip back and forth between them and the Blackhawks. And it was like, what a problem to have. We have too many sports and too little TVs. So that was a lot of fun, a bettor's nightmare. But
at least my baseball team just hasn't played in a week because they all got a virus. So
yeah, that's terrific. And they play the Cubs this weekend, so
maybe we'll see.
Yeah,
supposed to. Yeah, I saw somebody on Twitter compared the not having sports and then having sports all at the same time. It was like not ever doing drugs in your life and then just starting with crack.
That's good. That's really funny.
So yeah, we got, MLB, NHL, and the PGA Championship this week. By the time you're listening to this, it'll be Thursday, August 6th, so might not be in time, but we'll throw out some picks there and see how wrong we are on PGA as well.
Yeah, I'm thinking going forward, I should probably give the date that you're actually going to post this on and not the date that we're recording it on, huh?
Yeah, probably a good idea.
Yeah, okay.
But, just as far as sports getting back up and going here, hitting games on a daily basis that, with all the multiple sports going on, have you found it hard to kind of narrow down your picks for the day? Really being able to have the time to look into all that, especially with this weird setup right now.
Well, the problems that I've run into is it's not like I've forgotten how to bet, but I've forgotten the intricacies of day-to-day, game-to-game kind of a thing. I was convinced that the Carolina Hurricanes were going to have a problem with the New York Rangers when Dougie Hamilton was listed as out. Instead, they swept them, and it wasn't even a competition almost, and it was a quick 3-0 series, over and done with. Those types of things where so after game 1, Carolina wins. Game 2, Carolina wins, and I'm thinking, okay, there's no way that the Rangers get swept, so let's put down some coin on them. And then they do indeed get swept. Those are the types of things that I'm just not prepared for, or do not miss from 4 months ago, where my dumb brain tells me, hey, you got to be right at some point. And no, I do not have to be right at any point in this. So that's what I don't miss, but also I need to relearn as we kind of get restarted here.
Yeah, the preparation has been my main thing, getting back into it. Just trying to pay attention every day to what's going on when you didn't pay attention to any sports-related things for months.
Sure.
I basically took a year off baseball last year where I didn't pay attention to any teams except for the Cardinals for a year. And so now just getting back into it and being okay, what starting pitchers are actually still good? Maybe they're not good now, but they were in 2018. That's been a bit of a struggle, but it's also just, good to ramp everything back up and be going at it again.
Yeah, and here's the thing for basketball. Basketball is never something that I was extremely well-versed in. I think 4 months ago, if we were getting into the playoffs, I'd be able to confidently say, all right, here's who I think is going to win these couple of games. Even with these seeding, these final play-in and seeding games for them, it's really not going to help me because I have no idea essentially what's going on in the bubble right now.
Yeah, basketball's hard. Once we actually get to the actual playoffs and have series starting, I think it'll be easier to kind of pay attention to the games and watch the rhythm. But right now, where it's just you're just picking up in the middle of the bubble, and it's just random games. Like you don't know who's good, who's not. Like at this point of the season, just there's no consistency. So just trying to pick that up will be key.
Yeah, and there was an interesting point brought up that if you look at like the finals of all of the final scores of most of these games, they are in the 140s, 130s, 120s. They're all astronomical scores because the defense just isn't there. The rhythm isn't there to really pay or to really understand the defensive metrics of the game right now. And I don't think that comes into play until the playoffs. I think you're exactly right with that. So
yeah, and even right now when we think we know something, that just goes out the window right now. That yesterday the Bucks were, I believe it was like 18 and a half, 19-point favorite over the Nets and ended up losing. And
yeah,
that was the biggest point spread. I heard that was the biggest point spread upset in the NBA since 1993.
Good Lord.
So it's been a while since a 19-point dog has won like that. So right now, there's no guarantees with any of these sports, and you just never really know exactly how everything's going to play out. But it's an interesting experience that, like, in our lifetimes, this is never going to happen again. Like this,
sure.
all the sports being like canceled, pushed together like this, like it's just not something we thought we'd ever see, and probably not something we'll see again.
Sure. So let's get really right into it. So we've got baseball this weekend. We have a couple of games that we've kind of gone through that are tomorrow, Thursday, or today, Thursday, because you'll be listening to it today, or Jesus, whatever. And I'm in a mental pretzel right now.
Whenever you listen to it, it will.
Yes, whenever you listen to it, hopefully it's Thursday, August 6th, because we've got some money for you to make then, and also the upcoming weekend. So let's start with baseball.
Yeah, so really, I was just looking at games for Thursday's slate. Not looking too far into the weekend, as there's a lot of unknowns still to be had.
Mm-hmm.
And what I ended up liking was a bunch of totals plays. So I didn't have any sides to play for Thursday, just all over/under picks. That so far, if you don't already follow us on the Action Network app, we started keeping track of our picks there as well as on our Twitter. So at the Campus Cover, and then on Action Network, you can follow me at, I don't even know, I think it's like Cody8522 maybe.
Great username. I'm Patty Takes because that's what I use for everything. So it's at Patty Takes.
And then Cody8522. So we both went, was it 3-1 yesterday?
Both went 3-1. I felt pretty good about that. I have not had that successful of a day in quite some time.
Yeah, so both went 3-1 yesterday. The pick I got wrong was one Pat went against me and got right.
Yeah, that was terrific.
Brewers White Sox. So,
and the pick that I got wrong, I think, was Angels and Mariners, and I was asleep by the time that game ended, so I don't think it should count. I don't think it should count against me. I wasn't awake, so I didn't see it.
Tonight hasn't went quite as well. The Cubs came through for me in a big way that had them, minus half a run through the first 5 innings. Scored in the fifth inning to squeak by, but I still have them winning by 2.5 runs, and they're up by 1. So we'll see on that. And
you're not as in quite the pickle you're not in the pickle that I'm in which I have the over, so they need to score at least 9 for me to push. And they scored 3 through 5.5.
5.5. Yeah. At least your other picks are looking good right now. And then we'll see on the when we switch over to hockey, we both got plays on the Edmonton and Blackhawks game tonight. But yeah, looking forward to tomorrow. Kind of a thin slate, not a lot of games. Some teams got an off day, and we don't have the double headers that we did today. But the first one I was looking at was the A's Rangers under 8.5 runs. Right now, that pitching matchup is Mike Fiers versus Mike Minor. One thing I liked about that matchup is, so right now, by weighted on base average, the A's are 22nd in the league, Rangers are 27th, so neither offense really hitting all that well. And then looking at the pitchers themselves, that obviously Mike Fiers, Mike Minor, not guys that are lighting the world on fire by any means, but they're both guys so far this year that have been unlucky to an extent. Both have strand rates in the 50s with, xFIP sitting below their ERAs, where it's only about a 10 inning sample size, but I think that they've had some luck not break their way. So the way these teams have played the past couple days, not scoring a lot of runs, and the way they've played all season, neither offense being great, that I'm kind of leaning towards the under 8.5 runs in that one on Thursday.
Sure. Is that what you've got for Thursday then?
So actually have a few more there.
Wow, Mr. Big Shot here.
Went Cubs Royals over 9. Patty was pointing out to me how good Tyler Chatwood's been, but I'm just going to fade him. And then Brad Keller's not very good. So basically fading both teams and playing.
There's a chance that I genuinely hope that there's a chance that you hit the over simply because of Brad Keller and the Royals bullpen. And if not, maybe you'll hit it because of a close game in which the Cubs bullpen has to get a couple outs in.
I don't care how I get it, just as long as I get it.
Sure.
And then 2 more here. Yankees Phils over 9.5. Jordan Montgomery versus, don't actually know, Zach Eflin was on there, but so there's Jake Arrieta, so I don't know who's actually starting. Either way, I'll take the over. Yankees offense killing it as always. And then my last pick, from what I heard from Pat, I think we're conflicting here. We're colliding a little bit with Rockies Giants. I'm playing over 11.5 in that one.
All right. Well, I'm going to jump in then and start there because I took the under 11.5, mostly based on Kyle Freeland. And that's because on August 1st, he pitched 6 innings, gave up 2 hits, and had 0 earned runs at Coors Field. And I feel like that's just like when you're looking at a Rockies starting pitcher at Coors, that is like the most important thing. And I'm riding the hot hand with Kyle Freeland, and assuming that he keeps the Giants at bay, and hopefully the Giants. I think Tyler Anderson, we've kind of come to the consensus that he might be on the bump tomorrow.
Yeah, that's what the rumor appears to be, at least on Fangraphs.
So I like the under 11.5 because I just think that's a lot of runs for them to score.
Yeah, so the reason I'm going against you on this one is the exact opposite of what I said for the Rangers-A's game, is that while Minor and Fiers have both gotten unlucky so far this season, Freeland and Anderson have both been very lucky this season. Freeland's stranding 93% of his runners this year.
Seems pretty good to me.
Exactly. While only striking out 6.75 batters per 9.
Love it. All right.
Not getting a lot of strikeouts, and he's somehow straining people on base, which granted, he's not allowing a lot of people on base so far, but that's bound to come back at some point. And same goes for Tyler Henderson, that both are overperforming thus far. And both offenses are fine. Rockies are 11th in WOBA with Giants 16th. So they're both fine offenses and both pitchers who, at least one of them, I think, will come back and there'll be some runs scored in that game.
All right. Fair enough. We'll see who wins that one. I think I had the upper hand yesterday with the Brewers and White Sox. So
you did. So I gotta prove something here.
Yeah. And then speaking of Brewers and White Sox, that's my other pick tomorrow for Thursday's slate. I took the over 11 in that game just because Gio Gonzalez, and I honestly, it slipped my mind who's on the bump for the Brewers. But I Really don't have a lot of trust in them to keep that a low-scoring affair.
Have the past 2 nights, though.
They have the last 2 nights, that's sure. Or that's fair.
The 7th.
As for this weekend, speaking of the Brewers, once again, I like the overs in that series with the Reds. I believe that is at Miller Park. Luis Castillo is pitching for Cincinnati tomorrow against Cleveland. So he will not be a part of that series, which is kind of a big deal, I suppose. So whatever they are, or kind of using your judgment in the heat of the moment, I would consider taking overs in that series. And then what else do I have? I know that I have one more on here. Oh, Road Dogs. I love the Rockies in Seattle this weekend. Not a lot of people do, but the Rockies are kind of crushing it right now. They're 8-2. They're trailing the Giants right now, so they could be 8-3 by the time they're listening to this. But they also could be 9-2. That's how well they've been doing this year. And Seattle, not so much. So I would look on putting a couple bucks on Colorado.
All right, love that. So outside of that, I didn't really have anything for the weekend yet. When I do, we'll throw those up on Twitter and on the Action Network app. So make sure you're following us everywhere. What are you looking at for hockey this week?
Hockey. It's going to be an interesting one. So all of the qualifiers, and I think the smart play is to not really pay too much attention to the round robins unless you're really in a bind trying to pick something up. Just because similar to the NBA, not a lot of rhythm going on in those games, and they're not playing each other, or they're not playing the same opponent every single night. So I'd just stay away from those from those round robin seeding matches.
I will point one real quick with the round robins that from what I've seen so far the Avalanche have been really good in the West.
Yep.
And the Stars have been very not good so far. So whenever the Blues and the Stars play on Sunday, I'll be taking the Blues.
Okay.
I don't know about Blues against Vegas on Thursday, but I'll take them against Dallas.
And I actually think, I'm not sure the date, I think Colorado and Dallas play each other coming up.
They're playing each other right now.
They're playing each other right now.
They just finished. Colorado won 4-0.
Okay.
That was one of my picks for the day.
Okay. Good for you. Looking at the qualifiers to make the playoffs, so the play-ins, it's a seesaw of emotion for me right now with the Blackhawks and Oilers. The 6-4 game one, where I thought the Hawks kind of gave back a little bit of that momentum at the end to Edmonton, and then Connor McDavid absolutely torching the atrocious Blackhawks defense on Monday. That was demoralizing from a fan's perspective, especially to stay up until 1 a.m. or midnight to experience that. I don't really have a pick on that yet, but give me a minute and I will. The Coyotes look terrific. Darcy Kemper's standing on his head right now against the Predators. I don't know who will be in net for that game 4, but the Coyotes are up 2-1 in that series, and I would expect them to close it out in game 4, whether it's UC Saros or Pekka Rinne in net for Nashville. When we had Rob Reese on last week, he told us to look out for the Minnesota Wild. After watching them a little bit, I get it, but I still like Vancouver over them. So I would take them to finish off Minnesota as well. And the Calgary Flames. Once again, another pick that I had last week. Still looking hot. And then we're going to see Montreal as well as Florida get eliminated. Florida won today, kept themselves alive. Barry Trotz is out coaching Joel Quenneville still. That's not going to be a shock when the Islanders just finish them off. For Chicago and Edmonton. I have 2 cards here. If you can see it, I am holding 2 cards in my hand. This is great podcasting if you're listening to this. One says that Chicago advances, one says that Edmonton advances. I also have a lit candle in front of me. And, God, by the time you're listening to this on Thursday, there will be a leader in the series. I'm not going to burn one of these because I'll tweet it out tomorrow. Whoever wins tonight is going to win that series. That's just really how it is. If the Blackhawks can somehow figure out a way to prevent Connor McDavid from scoring 4 points a night, then you've got something going for you. But they haven't even experienced Leon Draisaitl really on the score sheet too much. His Corsi 4 is off the charts still, but he is your Hart winner this year and your Art Ross trophy winner, I think. Could be wrong. So if somehow the Blackhawks can figure out a way to kind of halt the Oilers just a little bit tonight and go out to a 2-1 lead, then I will be burning the Edmonton advances card. I'll Periscope it or something. But right now, I really can't make a choice on that until I watch Game 3.
Tease us with fire and then.
Yeah. This is very hot. I'm going to set it down.
All right. So then, this weekend is the PGA Championship. Wrote down a couple picks here. I guess you can go ahead. What do you got for the PGA?
PGA this weekend. A couple, not necessarily long shots because there's still decent odds to win. But I love Patrick Cantlay. I've always thought that it's been a harder trip for him to kind of get over that hump. But maybe this is the weekend to do it, especially with nobody in the crowd. Kind of a different situation for everybody there. He's 25-1, and it's a golf tournament. How can you not put a couple bucks on Tiger Woods, especially 26-1? I love it. So those are my 2 picks.
Yeah, so my safe pick here, just got to pick the favorite and take old Brooks Koepka. He's a big game player, big stage player. He's going to show up as he always does in the PGA Championship. He's 10-1 right now, and for good reason. Tied with who is he tied with for the best odds? Couldn't even tell you right off because it doesn't matter because Brooks Koepka's going to win.
Hey, fair enough. I love it. Love the confidence.
And then a couple of sprinkles here. Tommy Fleetwood 40-1. Tony Finau is 50-1. Don't hate either one of them to make a run. At least be in contention on Sunday.
Cool. Love it.
All right. So yeah, those probably won't hear those in time for the PGA Championship. So that's why we kept it light. But that will be starting Thursday. We got picks for MLB slate Thursday, and then hockey the rest of the weekend. We'll be back next week trying to have some kind of guest on for you guys again and get that.
Yeah, maybe we'll talk about the bubble in Disney World, or we'll see what we're talking about. I really don't even know when the NBA playoffs start, so
I don't either. So
yeah, good. Yeah, hey, our trusty 2 brains over here.
This to me right now.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all I got for this week. And like I said, follow us on all social media at Cody Goggin, at PD Norton 3, and then at Stu Sports, at the Campus Cover. Hit up everything. See you guys.